What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I want to teach you how to evaluate step functions, all right? So it looks kind of crazy when you're first looking at it. And I'm going to tell you right now, the technical name for it is a bit of a mouthful, all right? So let's just start with this first example right here. So here, this is f of x is equal to the greatest integer less than or equal to x plus 1. All right, so the way you evaluate a step function is whatever is inside of these cool looking brackets over here, you just take that number and round it down to the nearest whole number. All right, don't overthink it. That's literally all you have to do in order to solve this greatest integer less than or equal to x, all right? So here, let's try a few different examples, all right? So here, let's figure out what the function would be equal to if we plugged in a 2 into the function, all right? So if we plug in a 2, we're going to get f of 2 is equal to, and then we'll draw our cool brackets right there. And again, in any function, right? So here we're plugging in a 2 wherever we have an x. So here we're going to plug in a 2 wherever we have an x. So if we plug in a 2 here, we have to plug in a 2 here, right? So if we plug in a 2 here, we're going to plug in a 2 here. All right, so that's the first part. And then don't forget you still have this plus 1 out here, right? So we have this plus 1. Okay, so this number that we have inside of these cool looking brackets, all you have to do is round it down to the nearest whole number. However, this is already a whole number, okay? So if it's already a whole number, you don't actually have to round it down. You can just leave it alone. So in this case, since we have a whole number, we'll just leave this 2 as just a regular 2, right? So then this is going to be equal to simply 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. All right, so then our answer for this function, f of 2, is equal to 3. All right, let's try another one here. And you know what? I'm going to scoot over to the side a tiny bit. All right, so this time we want to figure out what the function is equal to when we plug in a 420 into the function. All right, so if let's clean this up really quick. Okay, so if we're going to plug in a 4.20 right here for x, well, we're going to plug in a 4.20 wherever we see an x, so we're going to plug one in right there also. So then here, this function is going to be equal to our cool brackets, right there, and then we're going to put 4.20 right there, and then plus 1, right, plus 1. Okay, so again, whatever this number is, you want to just round it down to the nearest whole number. So here, that would be 4, right? Rounding down 4.20, that would be equal to simply 4. And then don't forget the rest of the function right here, plus 1. So we get 4 plus 1, and that's equal to 5. Okay, now lastly, let's do 3 halves. And instead of just positive 3 halves, let's plug in, let's say this is negative 3 halves, all right? So let's plug in negative 3 halves into our function up here. So f of negative 3 halves is going to be equal to our cool brackets right there of negative 3 halves, which, by the way, if you turn that into a decimal, is the same thing as negative 1.5. Okay, and then again, we have our plus 1 right there. So then this is going to be equal to, well, rounding negative 1.5 down to the nearest whole number would be negative 2, right? And if that doesn't make sense, let's just draw a little number line here really quick. And let's say we had positive 1.5, all right? So if we wanted to round positive 1.5 down, well, we would round it down to the left, and we would hit positive 1, all right? In this case, we're at negative 1.5, so that's right here. But we want to round down, so that means we go to the left. Moving left on the number line means we're moving down, right? Or getting more negative. So that's why when we round this guy down, we don't get negative 1, we get negative 2. Okay, so there's your quick clarification. Now the rest of our equation right here is plus 1, right? So we'll put a plus 1 right there. So then negative 2 plus 1 is equal to negative 1. Boom. All right, let's do 2 last examples here, starting with this one on the left. So here we have h of x is equal to the greatest integer less than or equal to x plus 3. Okay, so this time, what number do we want to plug into this function? This time, let's say we want to evaluate h of negative 6.9. All right, so if we want to plug in negative 6.9 into the function, again, we'll just do that wherever we have an x. So then here, this would be equal to, again, drawing our cool bracket things right there. And then we're going to plug in a negative 6.9 for x, and then plus 3. All right, so then this is going to be equal to negative 6.9 plus 3, that's equal to negative 3.9, right? So negative 3.9. So then here, this is going to be equal to negative 4. All right, that's our final answer right here for h of negative 6.9. All right, now let's go on to this last one right here. So here we have g of x is equal to negative 7 times the greatest integer less than or equal to 2x plus 4, and then plus 6 at the very end. All right, so this time let's say we want to evaluate g of, let's say, 1/8. All right, let's plug in 1/8 right there. So what are we going to get? So here this is going to be equal to negative 7 times our cool looking bracket things, where we're going to get 2 times 1/8 plus 4, and then we'll close these guys, plus 6. All right, so then this is going to be equal to negative 7. And then here 2 times 1/8 is equal to, well, 2 over 8. And 2 over 8 reduces down to 1/4, right? So then here we're going to get 1/4 plus 4, close those, plus 6, all right? So then this is going to be equal to negative 7, and then 1/4 plus 4 is just equal to 4 and 1/4, or we could say 4.25, right? Same thing. So then in those bracket thingy-majigger-mabobs, we're going to say 4.25. Then we're going to close them and then say plus 6. Okay, so we finally simplified this as much as we can, so now we can round this down. So 4.25, rounding that down to the nearest whole number would just be 4, right? So then this is going to be equal to negative 7, and then this is, again, just 4. So we'll just put just 4 in parentheses, and then plus 6. So then here, negative 7 times 4 is negative 28, plus 6, and that's equal to negative 22. Boom! So if you found the video helpful, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below.